Spain has taken a step that until recently would have been unthinkable for a European government. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has announced a permanent arms embargo on Israel alongside a package of sanctions banning Israeli-bound ships and aircraft carrying weapons or fuel from using Spanish ports or airspace, prohibiting imports from West Bank settlements, increasing aid to the Palestinians and banning entry for individuals considered directly responsible for what Sanchez openly calls genocide. This is not merely rhetoric. It's a break with decades of European equivocation, a test of whether the EU will continue to cling to double standards or whether it will confront Israel with the same language and the instruments of international law that it has deployed against Russia. Sanchez didn't shy away from words that most European leaders avoid. He said 60,000 dead, 2 million displaced, half of them minors. This is not self-defense. It is extermination of a defenseless people and a violation of all the laws of international law. This speech places Israel's military campaign in Gaza alongside other moments in recent history that international jurists have named as genocide. It reflects the UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese's reports, and it aligns Spain with the case already proceeding against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Israel's response has been explosive. Foreign Minister Gideon Saar accused Sanchez of anti-Semitism, claiming his measures were a smokescreen for corruption scandals at home. He announced sanctions on Spanish ministers Yolanda Díaz and Sierra Rego, barring them from Israel. Israel insists that Spain's actions amount to a betrayal of the Jewish people and an endorsement of Hamas. This tit for tat reveals how isolated Israel has become diplomatically. The charge of anti-Semitism, which once silenced European capitals, now falls on deaf ears in Madrid. Spain has retorted that its policies are rooted in human rights and that it will not be intimidated by Israel. At first sight, Spain looks isolated, yet it may be setting the course for Europe. Slovenia has already imposed an arms embargo. Germany has suspended military exports that could be used in Gaza. The Netherlands and Sweden have pressed for EU action on settlement goods. Ireland has recognised Palestinian statehood. The pieces are in place for an EU consensus, however halting and fragile, and Sanchez himself has pointed out the hypocrisy. We have passed 18 sanction packages on Russia for its aggression against Ukraine, but have not suspended our association agreement with Israel when it flagrantly violates Article 2 on human rights. This inconsistency cannot hold forever. Spain is daring to say what others think privately. Europe cannot punish Putin while supplying Netanyahu. Netanyahu insists he's repairing the wounds of October the 7th. But what began as an attempt to restore security has descended into revenge, collective punishment, and now, according to Spain, the UN, and many jurists, genocide. Hospitals bombed, children starved, entire neighbourhoods flattened. These are not accidents of war, but policies of destruction. Spain's move resonates with global outrage. From the protests on Italian beaches against off-duty IDF soldiers to the boycotts at cultural events like the Vuelta cycling race where Israeli participants have had to take off their badges. Civil society across Europe is moving faster than government. Sanchez is aligning his country with that moral momentum. Spain's decision to suspend arms sales to Israel is far more than a foreign policy gesture. It is an assertion that the European project must be built on consistency in defending human rights, not convenience. And Sanchez concluded his address by saying he wanted Spain to be on the right side of history. History will judge whether he is correct, but one thing is clear. This is no longer about Israel and Gaza. It is about Europe deciding whether international law applies universally or whether it will always make exceptions for its allies. Spain has dared to break the silence. The question is whether others will now follow.